My name is Melvin Leach. I'm the Director of Community Development for the City of East Cleveland and Building and Housing. We're going to introduce staff right now and our special guests. In the back, we have Karen Hood and Barbara Johnson. Karen is our fiscal manager, makes sure everything, all our numbers are correct, does our reporting to HUD. Barbara is our executive assistant who makes sure that all of our projects move along with emergency repair, with the paint program. So that's our team. And then we have special guests with us here from the county planning commission. And that would be Richard Sika and Marcia Moe. They are special guests because every 5 years, it was in the past, we do a consolidated plan, which is mandated by HUD for us to do that. So our action plan that we do each year that we have this meeting is based on that consolidated plan. So a good way to think about it is the consolidated plan is our master plan, and our action plan is our one-year plan that goes off of that consolidated plan. It's that time of the year, so we had to make sure that we get another consolidated plan to do, to make sure our action plan stays current with the needs of the community and what's going on in society. Does anybody have any opening remarks they want to say before they give their presentation? Okay.
Now, are you going to let us get a copy of this presentation?
He said he would email it to you.
Okay, cool.
Everything is public, not public for the record, so
thank you.
we're going to videotape it so you'll have it right there as well.
Yeah, you know what I do.
Thank you. Good evening. As Mr. Leach said, I'm Rick Sika with the County Planning Commission, and we're assisting the City of East Cleveland with their 3-year consolidated plan. We have also provided those services to other communities as well. So we've, at other points in the last couple of years, been assisting the City of Cleveland, as well as Cleveland Heights and Euclid and Lakewood and Parma and the county on behalf of a number of smaller suburbs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give a little bit of background about the consolidated plan, what it is, and then my colleague Marcia Moll is going to take over and go over a little bit of data related to East Cleveland. So for the City of East Cleveland, the 2 HUD programs for which the city receives funding is Community Development Block Grant and the Home Investment Partnership Program. And over the years, what's above the line are various points where HUD has created different programs. On the furthest left, the Community Development Block Grant Program dates all the way back to 1974, the Home Program 1990, and other programs that have been developed over the years. Particularly the red items are related to homelessness. And in the bottom, below the line, is how HUD's planning documents have evolved over time. And they've changed names from the Housing Assistance Plan to the Comprehensive Housing Affordability Strategy to about 20 years ago, the Consolidated Plan. So the Consolidated Plan, once every 5 years, in this case with East Cleveland 3 years, and it's a point in time to describe the housing needs of residents, the strategies to meet those needs, and the funds that will be available to address them. And then, as Mr. Leach said, the annual plan is what you'll do specifically within that. Really, as HUD thinks of the consolidated plan, it's a point to just sort of stop, think about the community, think about your priorities, and then use the funding every year to try and meet some needs. So the 5-year plan looks at demographic and housing trends, develops priority needs and objectives for housing programs. It has a plan in it to how you assess yearly performance through HUD. HUD has a process for that as well. And it's also the point to consult with other private and nonprofit and public agencies and organizations that are providing services specifically within East Cleveland or countywide that might include East Cleveland as well. For example, all the homelessness programs in the county are done through the Cleveland-Calgary County Office of Homeless Services, and that includes all 59 communities within the county. So in the community profile section of the 5-year plan, there's characteristics of the general population, the housing stock, the housing market, the affordable housing needs in the community, needs of homeless persons, and the needs of what HUD calls non-homeless special needs persons who require supportive services. And to HUD, that's a specific list of persons such as persons with physical disabilities, mental disabilities, developmental disabilities, persons with AIDS, and the elderly. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Marcia Mall for some demographic and housing information. I think this one was really well, because I could see that as well. After about 3 slides, they moved it and turned it around.
All right. And as you are thinking through the needs, it helps to know some of the demographics. I think probably you, like other folks in each of their respective communities, have a general sense of sort of what the statistics are. But it's always good and helpful, to me anyway, to sort of look at the numbers, look at maps that show patterns. So we're going to do a little bit of that today, but it probably won't be any big surprises. So this table shows that East Cleveland, as well as Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, basically the whole region, has been losing population since, well, before 1990. I just started at 1990. And what is encouraging is if you look at the 2010 to 2014 estimates, the most recent data released by the U.S. Census Bureau, it shows a slowing of population loss. So East Cleveland, as well as the other geographies shown, are beginning to stabilize. And this map shows the whole county, and it shows population loss by census tract, which is a census term. It's almost like a neighborhood size geography. The blue shows the loss of population, and the darker the blue, the higher the loss, and the red shows a population gain, and the darker the red color, the larger the gain. And you can see between 1990 and 2000, there's a lot of population loss in the inner city and the first ring suburbs, and you're starting to see population growth along the edge of the county in the far out suburbs. Between 2000 and 2010, the loss in the inner city and the first ring suburbs looks like it's slowing and kind of breaking up, but there's more growth in some of the out ring suburbs. And if I show adjacent counties, you'd see even more growth in those suburbs. So the city and the county, as well as East Cleveland, is supporting all of the infrastructure, but folks are moving out, so they're not really helping to pay for that infrastructure through property taxes and income taxes. So that's an issue we all have to work on. This table and graph show the age groups. East Cleveland is pretty similar to the county and Cleveland. In the 40 to 64 range, you have a little bit more people in that age group than the city, a little less than the county. And then, but when you get to the age 65, you have a little more of the elderly population than the other two geographies. So, that helps you to think about what kind of programs you might want to develop or strengthen, or for that age group. This shows percent minority. East Cleveland and Cleveland have a higher minority population. Cuyahoga County as a whole is a little bit less diverse. And then I got a series of maps with several of the different minority groups that shows the concentration of the group. And with, again, with the darkest color being the highest concentration and the lightest color being the lowest concentration. Here it's, even the lowest color is fairly high. These are percent Asian, and while they're using the same color concentrations, the percentages are very low, but it's just sort of to...
I had a question on this slide. Is the concentration, is that, this is all East Cleveland? I can hardly see the streets or areas.
Yeah,
Where it's really dark.
it is all East Cleveland. Sort of that center line is Euclid.
Oh, okay.
That's, this is Euclid
Yeah,
up
right.
that way.
Okay.
And down here is the University Circle, and we get back up into Cleveland, and north and Cleveland Heights on the east.
So even the lightest color there is almost 80% African American. We don't. This is a HUD.
Mandated map.
Well, I was going to say
Pretty
developed
much.
system, yeah, and
And
so we don't have any. It controls where it breaks everything down. So whereas here the lightest color starts at almost 80%, and then the next one for the Asians, all of the sections
Yeah, they're
are
like
less than 1%. So yeah.
But the color is just as saturated, so
Right.
it's, so just, keep that in mind, and I'll try and point that out. And this map shows the percent of persons who on the census said that they were of 2 or more races. And the highest percentage that they talk about is, well, greater than 2.41. So again, it's not a very high percentage, but and then persons of Hispanic origin, and
6.
to get old and need different kinds of glasses. So 6% is the, so it probably, even though I haven't seen the exact percentage, it's probably not much over, it's under 7% would be my sort of guess. We'll have some tables in the plan that will give the numbers. So when that comes out, then you can look at that if that's of interest to you. We also look at economics, median household incomes. While we haven't, HUD did not adjust their numbers for inflation, the median incomes have been rising a bit. You in Cleveland, East Cleveland and Cleveland are pretty similar. County's somewhat higher. And this shows the median household income and the areas of the city and the amounts. So the lightest again is the lower